Hope everybody's squared away had a great weekend. You know, it's Memorial Day weekend next weekend. That means you remember when you put on that uniform, it stands for duty, honor, country, and above all, integrity. A lot of folks sometimes take that word for granted. Not on my watch. There are many people who put their lives on the line. Some have gave all their lives just so you can breathe in the morning. Get out of bed and take on the world and take on your dreams and cast fear and self-doubt and insecurities aside. Remember that while you're walking, paving them footsteps with your army boots or what branch you're from, what race you're from. Hold your head high and make it count. Remember, there's no such unit or branch or division could ever make anything possible without the one word teamwork. It means getting along with whoever is next to you. You take notes watching that movie, We Were Soldiers, to Saving Private Ryan. All kinds of movies that will stir and motivate you in the right direction. I have a collection myself for everything from Platoon to Black Hawk Down. I mean, all kinds of war movies. John Wayne, Green Beret, can't go wrong there. Or Bragg, can't go wrong there. All people, kinds of people, regardless of race, where you come from, what creed. Look at that soldier's prayer I just gave you in the last weekend video. When you say that prayer, remember that when you put on your uniform in the morning, that it means everything. Keeping peace, hope, love alive all over the world. 24/7. Since it is Memorial Day weekend, there might be two parts to this video honoring World War II veterans. God bless you seniors out there. Some of you crossed my path, have some serious ranks on your shoulder, part of the American Legion, National Association of America, and got some serious stories to tell. I've run into a few of you here and there along the way, and the Pratt Museum. I was just attending the memorial that was set aside today, this afternoon. Met some serious colonels, high rankers, and God bless them for dedicating that ceremony today at Fort Campbell. It starts off, I've gotten this paper, thanks to some dear friends, Colonel Scott D. Thomas, home of the 6th Mobility Wing. I was visiting MacDill Air Force Base, my old stomping grounds, visiting some friends I've known for 15 plus years. Trying to see my son, but needless to say that didn't happen. Can't have always everything you could always want, no matter how hard you try. This other person decided that work was more important than letting me see my son. That's life, and the rest I leave to God. I mean, where there's a will, there's a way, and one day, God willing, my son will be returned to me. This immigration, fudge cake salad will be thrown in the trash can. Lesson learned. Moving on. The day that changed World War II. 7 decades ago, Operation Overlord hit the beaches of Normandy. On D-Day, June 6, 1944, troops in a landing craft approached Omaha Beach at Omaha, one of the 5 landing areas on the coast of Normandy, France. The U.S. 1st and 29th Divisions came under heavy fire despite bombardment from air and sea. The Nazis had still plenty of firepower, turning Omaha into a killing field. As you can see, that's pretty much you saw Saving Private Ryan in the movie. Tom Hanks, you would see in that then, you would see exactly how that movie started off with Mission Detail. That's exactly how it started off. 7 decades ago, Operation Overlord hit the beaches in Normandy. 70 years ago next month, the largest armada ever assembled set off from England for the French coast. On June 6, 1944, 160,000 Allied troops supported by 700 warships and carried by 2,500 landing craft assaulted a 50-mile stretch of the Normandy coast in an effort to push the Nazis out from occupied France and drive into Germany. Earlier that day, thousands of paratroopers landed behind the enemy defensive lines to protect the Armada's flanks. Despite heavy losses within the first 6 days of the assault, 326,000 men, 54,000 vehicles, and 104,000 tons of material came ashore in what was called Operation Overlord. But the battle for Normandy was far from over. 20 days into the operation, the Allies had advanced only a dozen miles inland. By July, the breakout from Normandy had begun. Troops fought in the battle amongst the hedgerows and captured St. Lo by month's end. They were at the edge of Brittany in August. Brittany was in Allied hands, and it was on to Paris, which was liberated on August 25th. Vive la France! God bless you. The Allied advance suffered a setback in the Netherlands during Operation Market Garden, installed in December the legendary Battle of the Bulge. On March 7, 1945, the U.S. 9th Armored Division captured the bridge at Rimagen in Germany, and by the end of the month, all the Rhine was in Allied hands. The march across Germany had begun. On May 9, 1945, just a little more than 11 months after D-Day, the Nazis surrendered. Now, it was 7 decades later, still thankful French residents, D-Day veterans, their families and friends, along with tourists and history buffs, will return to their Asian beaches, Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juneau, and Seoul to commemorate the Allied efforts and sacrifices. God bless you all, you World War II veterans who helped with D-Day. Carrying on, going from MacDill, courtesy of MacDill Air Force Base, to Fort Campbell's Collier. Vietnam veterans. Vietnam vets show 101st Pride before WE kickoff by Megan Locke Simpson, Collier staff. In 1964, Lyndon B. Johnson occupied the Oval Office and the Beatles' I Want to Hold Your Hand topped the U.S. charts. It was also a year of change that ushered in the heavy U.S. involvement in Vietnam. With the passage of Gulf and Tonkin Resolution, within this month, 50 years later, the 101st Airborne Division is focusing the upcoming week of the Eagles festivities around the theme Remembering the 101st in Vietnam. Building on the legacy of courage and strength, Major General James C. McConville, 101st Airborne Division, Fort Campbell Commander, emphasized the importance of Vietnam veterans and their accomplishments in recent message welcoming guests to post for WE, which begins with a division run Friday. It was though the valor, actions of disciplined, well-trained, and physically fit Screaming Eagles who sacrificed everything for freedom, for peace, and for each other, that we have earned a legacy of which we can also be justified proud. He said that from hedgerows of Normandy to the rugged Alps of the Birch's Garden, from the jungles of the south of Vietnam and the deserts of Kuwait and Iraq to the jagged mountain ranges of Afghanistan, the soldiers of the 101st Airborne Division run Friday. Upon the legacy you created, the special recognition for Vietnam veterans coincides with National Vietnam Commemoration, which acknowledges the 50th anniversary of the war. The Fort Campbell area remains home to many Vietnam veterans eager to write their own legacy and who regularly support present-day 101st soldiers. Retired First Sergeant A.J. Murdoch, who served with the 2nd Battalion, 327th Infantry Regiment in Vietnam, proudly acknowledges his service. Murdoch and the others no-slag soldiers of 2nd Battalion, 327th Infantry Regiment left the Vietnam jungles in April 1972. God bless you, sir. His command sergeant major ensured that Murdoch had the honor of stepping on the plane after sending him to retrieve a missing item from the hangar. I came back and said, Sergeant Major, I looked all over everywhere, I can't find it, he recalled, and he goes, you know, I feel like a complete idiot, Sergeant Murdoch. I had it around my waist. So anyways, he ducked in the aircraft and went right behind him, and they closed the door. When I got in the aircraft, he poked me in the chest and said, you're the last eagle out. Yeah. Hey, Huey. No. Like that. It's all a great feeling when you see a helicopter coming by, knowing that's going to be a good day. Soldiers are with the 1st Brigade, 101st Airborne Division, executed Huey during an air assault mission in Vietnam. Boston soldiers were the first from the division to service in combat in Vietnam, arriving in 1965. No slack soldiers with 2nd Battalion, 327th Infantry Regiment, 101st Airborne Division was the last Army division to leave South Vietnam in 1972. Fort Campbell's week of. The Eagles theme is based around the sacrifices of these service members, remembering the 101st in Vietnam, building and the legacy of courage and strength. Reading on. While Murdoch and his fellow service members did not come to the ticker tape parades common for soldiers in World War II or today's modern welcome home ceremonies, Fort Campbell's office officials are now making sure the sacrifices of these Vietnam vets do not go unrecognized. When we came back, we had apples, oranges, radio batteries thrown out at us, Murdoch said. In 2009, the installation hosted a welcome home ceremony for Vietnam veterans from all branches. Fort Campbell also hosted the Vietnam Traveling Memorial Wall, which is a smaller replication of the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C. Murdoch attended the Vietnam Veteran Welcome Home ceremony and said, if you didn't shed a tear there, then you couldn't have been human. He said the support was second to none, and events such as the upcoming Week of the Eagles show how public perception has changed significantly during the past 50 years. We had just had a blast, he said. The welcome home was the empathy of what I have seen for the Vietnam veterans. Murdoch went on to serve for 24 years with a brief break in service, also a Gulf War vet. He joined the Army in 1967 with the 327th Infantry Regiment in Vietnam. He served as the Hawk Recon Platoon Sergeant. He worked a lot of missions in the Rocket Belt all the way around Cam Ranh Bay until it was time. Our time. He said, I'm not a hero. I was just a soldier that did my job. We lost a lot of good guys. Stereotypes and misperceptions are still common when referencing Vietnam veterans. However, 101st Airborne Division Association President Jim Keaton said these attitudes are changing with the Vietnam veterans increasingly more open, especially when it comes to their fellow service members. One of the most important things of all is that because of the way the Vietnam veterans were treated, I think the nation leaned a lot that he said, well, we were treated so badly that you didn't even want to go back there to think about it. But this is the reason that we really tried to take care of our guys today. After serving as a clinical specialist of the 101st Battalion, 321st Artillery in Vietnam, Keaton returned home to become an entrepreneur. I ran the battalion and stationed myself on Doctor. I was on Fire Base Bastogne and the different fire bases we treated. The 501st, 502nd, the Karate, kind of everyone came through the aid station, recall. Vietnam veterans are being offered a special place of honor during the week of the Eagle Division Review, May 22nd at 10 a.m. These veterans are invited to walk along the 101st Airborne Division parade field during the ceremony. For more information, call to RSVP call Fort Campbell Bell Public Affairs Office at 270-798-3025. Murdoch still lives in the Clarksville area, 101st Airborne Division Association member for 41 years. God bless. He now helps with the Boys' Day program at Fort Campbell High School and serves within the American Legion amongst other activities. He also treasures his state as a role model for other service members who often stop and ask about his experience these fine days. is act the best way and the youngest to resilient. It's just a great way because you see the guys are out there are Vietnam veterans and they're still giving, and Murdoch returned 65 months saying now how knows how much longer we are still going to be alive or how much longer we're going to be able to do to physically one thing, but as long as I get a breath in my lungs, I'm going to be doing things with the sun first. God bless y'all who served in all the wars and keeping peace and hope alive. Much love.